Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So tonight I thought I would share with you all a quick little green bean recipe. This is a super spur of the moment video, so excuse my lack of, I don't know, professionalism or whatever you want to call it. But I just thought I would share it with y'all because I used to make this all the time. I have this little recipe in my little binder here that my mom gave to me. I think it was my mom or maybe my grandmother when I first moved out in my first apartment. And it just has some of my favorite recipes in here. I think the recipe came from one of my mom's friends. She made it and gave it to my mom and I loved it, so she gave it to me. Anyway, I used to make it a lot, haven't made it in a while, and I just thought it sounded really good. We're having a baked pork loin tonight. So these are kind of a sweet and savory green bean. You are gonna use canned green beans, but little confession, I am a canned green bean person. I don't know why. I just don't know why. I've tried like all kinds of fresh green bean recipes and I just love my canned green beans. I know that's probably terrible, but I just really do. So this is a good way to spice this up a little bit. Like I said, I love this recipe. So yeah, I just thought I would share it with you guys. So the ingredients you will need, it actually calls for 4 cans of green beans, but that will make a ton, obviously. So for my family of 4, I have 2 small kids and my husband, we will just need the 2 cans. That will be plenty for us. So 2 cans of green beans, it doesn't matter what kind. I prefer the cut green beans. You will need a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. You will need some soy sauce, 1/4 of a cup, but we'll just use a little less than that. A 1/2 stick of butter. The recipe calls for garlic powder, but I am out of garlic powder, so I'm just going to use some minced garlic like this. And then you're going to need some bacon. It calls for a 1/2 pound, but even the original recipe says they don't use that much, just put some on top. So that's what I'm going to do, because like I said, I'm having this recipe anyway. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. This is so good. You want this? It sound pretty good to you? All right, so I'm going to put this all together and I'll show you how to do it. All right, so to a small saucepan, I'm adding 1/2 stick of butter. It says 1/4 cup of soy sauce. So I'm just going to use about half that. Like I said, I am having this recipe. If you make the whole recipe with 4 cans of green beans, this is a really good thing to take somewhere for cookouts, anything like that, because it does make a lot. So add 1/4 cup of soy sauce, and then you're going to add a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Then also your garlic. It calls for 1 or 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, so I'm just going to add in probably a teaspoon of minced garlic if you want to do it this way. Add that right on in. And then all I'm going to do is let this all melt down together. I'm going to give it a stir. Make sure to keep an eye on it because that brown sugar and butter can burn. So once it all gets melted and combined, then I'm just going to pour it over the green beans, which I'll show y'all in just a second. Alright, one thing I just like to do, you don't have to, but I always rinse my green beans anytime I'm using canned. I just kind of like to get that canned green bean taste out of there, so that's what I do. Alright, so my mixture is all combined. It's starting to simmer a little bit. So I got my green beans in just a little pan like this, a little baking dish. If you're using 4 cans, you can use a 9 by 13. I'm just using basically half of that, whatever that measurement is. So I'm just pouring my sauce right over my green beans. Okay, and I like to just kind of toss the green beans to get them nice and coated. All right, and then next I just cut up my bacon over here, just kind of chopped it up into little pieces like that. You don't have to, you could just lay it across the top or leave it out altogether. I've done that plenty of times when I just felt like making a little easy green bean dish, but I thought I would go ahead and add it on there tonight. I used 3 of the thick cut slices of bacon. I just used 3 slices because we do have bacon on top of the pork loin that I fixed, so we don't want bacon overload here, but we are not afraid of bacon at all. Obviously, we do like it, but we don't need that much. So I just put 3 slices. I'm just gonna put it all over the top like that. Alrighty, so the recipe calls to bake that for 30 minutes at 350. However, my pork loin is in there at 375 and it's not quite done, so I'm gonna pop it back in the oven as well as this. It'll be just fine on 375. I'll just watch it until that bacon gets crispy and it'll be delicious. Alright, so you can see the bacon in there getting a little crispy, but we like it pretty crispy, so I'm gonna leave it just a few more minutes. It's probably been in there about 30 minutes already, but just leave it in there until it's crispy as you like it. It's almost done. Alright, just pull out the green beans from the oven. So that's what they look like when you pull them out. Looks so good. So yeah, I hope you guys give this recipe a try. Comment down below, let me know what you think. If you're new, I would love to have you subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.